Hello, my name is Alejandra Segura, and in this video, I will describe and talk about how the Transformational Leadership Framework, also known as TLF, connects with the Texas Principal Standards, specifically Standard 1 of Instructional Leadership and Standard 4 of School Culture. Effective school leadership goes beyond a vision or a want to change. It requires that strategic action with those specific tasks and responsibilities to achieve a goal or an improvement. The Transformational Leadership Framework, as described in the book Breakthrough Principles, offers educational leaders a clear, structured, and sequenced approach to school improvement in various areas like instruction, motivation, student learning, and school culture. This framework also helps principals regularly assess the conditions in their schools, assess the effectiveness of their plans, identify those priority need areas, make any necessary adjustments, and take purposeful sequence actions towards sustained academic growth and improvement. Overall, it helps principals identify their school's needs and priority areas and what the most efficient and essential actions are needed to sustainably improve their school. The Transformational Leadership Framework aligns strongly with the Texas Principal Standards, especially Standard 1 of Instructional Leadership and Standard 4 of School Culture, because, as mentioned in the book, it emphasizes the principal's role and influence in driving student achievement by creating effective and rigorous instructional practices and a strong, positive school culture. And at its core, the Transformational Leadership Framework emphasizes the role of principals in performing these roles and responsibilities that foster those high expectations and that continuous growth, which are very similar to the elements of effective leadership found in the Texas Principal Standards. The TLF organizes school improvement actions and practices into five categories, which are learning and teaching, school culture, talent management, planning and operations, and personal leadership. Each category, except for personal leadership, follows three stages of development that help principals in determining which actions are already in place at their schools and what actions they should take to further improve their school. Stage 1 focuses on the foundational practices that lay the groundwork. Stage 2 focuses on expanding and deepening that implementation and addressing the needs of those different student groups. Stage 3 focuses on those higher order practices and embedding these practices into the school's culture for sustained success. Starting with the Principal Standard 1 of Instructional Leadership, which emphasizes the principal's role in ensuring that all students receive a high quality, standards aligned instruction. Principals are expected to implement that rigorous and that high quality curriculum and practices. They are expected to monitor instruction, provide feedback, and use data to make those informed decisions. Through these actions, a principal is contributing to the increase of student achievement and performance. The Transformational Leadership Framework supports the standard by organizing actions within the learning and teaching category. This category represents one of the two primary drivers of student achievement, which is rigorous goal and data-driven learning and teaching. The Transformational Leadership Framework begins by helping principals identify what stage of development their school is in order to develop an improvement plan with appropriate actions. Once in stage 1, principals develop and introduce those basic systems and structures to support school improvement. They spend a large amount of time monitoring and reinforcing these systems. An example of stage 1 found in the book is when a principal models effective unit planning and provides actionable feedback to teachers, which aligns with the Texas Principal Standard 1 indicators 1A and 1B. This stage then evolves to stage 2, where the principal develops staff capacity to take on those leadership roles. An example of this stage, also found in the book, is when a principal builds the capacity of a leadership team in reviewing those unit and lesson plans for rigor and alignment, which supports indicator 1B and 1C in the Standard 1 of effective instructional practices and monitoring of instruction and interventions. In stage 3, the principal has developed those systems that foster a deep sense of ownership across staff, students, and families. An example of stage 3, also found in the book, is when the principal leads a curriculum review where staff can collaborate and assess the alignment and the quality of curriculum plans and the resources, aligning with the Standard 1's goal of that continuous instructional refinement. What makes TLF powerful here is its developmental approach. Instead of having principals work with multiple initiatives all at once, it builds through a progress through steps reflecting the values of that continuous improvement that is found in Standard 1. Overall, through these stages and progression, the TLF provides principals with that roadmap to move from those foundational practices to more sustained instructional practices, fulfilling the purpose of Standard 1. Now, moving to Texas Principal Standard 4 of school culture, which focuses on creating a shared and positive school culture of high expectations, where supportive feedback, social and emotional development support, engagement with families and communities, and a safe, inclusive environment are provided and fostered. Transformative Leadership Framework reflects this standard through its school culture category, which, as mentioned by the book, describes the values, expectations, and supports that allow students to develop that confidence in their academic potential and achieve at a high level. This category represents the other primary driver of student achievement, which is school culture, organized around high expectations for staff and students alike. The process of figuring out what stage a school is in this category is the same as described earlier in the learning and teaching category. In stage 1, principals work with staff to create those clear behavioral expectations and systems for accountability, which aligns with the Texas Principal Standard 4 of School Culture's Indicators 4A and 4B, which emphasize shared vision and consistent expectations. In stage 2, principals establish those appropriate behavior expectations, and these expectations are actively taught and reinforced, making these actions aligned with indicators 4C and 4D, which focus on maintaining a safe environment through responsive discipline practices that meet the needs of all students. At stage 3, the principal builds student capacity to lead and model school values, creating a community of shared responsibility and aligning with the standard indicators of 4A and 4C. The Transformative Leadership Framework shows us that culture isn't just about managing the climate in the school, but it's also about fostering those environments that support the growth, the leadership, the commitment, the collaboration, and the achievement, which are all aspects and expectations found within Standard 4. At its core, TLF is based on transformational leadership, connecting it almost entirely to the Texas Principal Standards. They both help principals not only manage their schools, but also become leaders who inspire, develop, and engage their communities towards the goals of improvement. This goal and idea align perfectly with the transformational role found within the Texas Principal Standards 1 and 4. Also, by promoting a developmental approach, the TLF ensures that improvements in instruction and culture are aligned, measured, and adjusted over time. As stated in the book, without a strategic focus on stages and sequence, principals and schools can feel as if they are on a treadmill, working hard but not seeing much progress. Texas standards similarly call for principals to work through thoughtful, purposeful leadership rather than going through many quick initiatives for that quick problem solving. In conclusion, the TLF provides a clear, practical, and structured roadmap for achieving the goals set in the Texas Principal Standards. While the standards describe what effective leadership looks like and the expectations and the goals, the TLF offers the how, the steps, and the stages needed to get there and improve instruction. They build a positive school culture and achieve sustainable school improvement. Together, they guide principals in becoming transformational leaders who create lasting improvement and academic success for all. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this video provides that additional information and knowledge that helps connect the transformational leadership framework with the Texas Principal Standards.